Hi there. Hi. Didn't see you there. The sun is shining. So yes, first episode, or I don't even know, I'm not even gonna call it episodes because that adds a bit more pressure. So first concept I'm going to talk about is Queen and Slim. The concept behind that was to create something that kind of inspired me from the Queen and Slim film that came out, I think, the end of January. I kind of wanted to create my own inspired piece. This year I kind of set out goals in which I wanted to create concepts around things that I saw happen throughout the year. So I saw the trailer for Queen and Slim like the end of last year, beginning of 2020. And thought, you know what, this would be a sick opportunity to create something literally off the back, inspired by the piece, inspired by the film, that inspired the piece. So that started with getting in contact with a friend of mine called Yoshi. She's sick, this is the Instagram handle, plugging people that I'm working with, cheese, and Joe. And I kind of had to, I spoke to Yoshi first, who is a stylist, and she's just sick, man. I've seen her, I met her like last year at Balaji's fashion launch. And then we exchanged Instagrams, and then fast forward, and now we're talking about making a concept together. So that was really, really cool. So I pitched her the idea about how I really wanted to make a Queen and Slim inspired piece that included like Black Love. I actually listened to the album, the soundtrack, and went through songs that I thought would fit the piece well. Then from that, got in contact, created like a little bit of a small little treatment / book, sent that to Yoshi. She loved the idea. She got back to me and said, oh, maybe we should try this, maybe we should try that. That sounded wicked. Then once we got the piece ready, in terms of the mood, the what we wanted to do, she was like, oh, I know a friend that works at a vintage shop in Shoreditch called Attica, and that's where it was all kind of based in terms of scenery. So then we knew, so that kind of brought the concept into an idea where it was more like a fashion lookbook / inspired piece. Two people who come together, go into a store, pick their clothes for one another. If you do have a partner, it's one of those things when you actually go shopping and then you're like, right, I know what I want, you don't know what you want, let's go with that sort of vibe. So then they kind of pick up clothes for each other, they're in awe of each other, sort of that sort of love story. So at the same time, it has like elements from the film, and then it has like its own element by itself with the whole fashion lookbook thing. I'm really digging this bit of green here because I feel like it's adding a little bit of, I don't even know, let me know if you think this is actually distracting or adds vibes. So once we got the all clear to shoot, it was a case of just getting everyone available on the same date. So we had like a morning of a weekday because it was not as busy. So we couldn't really shoot on the weekend, which is normally my prime time for shooting, because Monday to Friday I'm hella busy. So the weekend's normally my time to kind of do my thing. So we had to do it on like a Friday morning. Turned up and kind of had a quick recce of all the place. We kind of brought our own clothes as well, just in case Attica didn't have some of the outfits that we kind of wanted to go for. But they did have a lot, and I think the last piece, which was like such a good piece in terms of outfit-wise for both Joe and Yoshi, looked flipping sick. And what Joe was actually wearing was actually in store. So that's a bit of a plug there. So his purple looking tracksuit was in store. So we shot, I think, about 2 hours. We was quite tight for time. Once we shot, we got the concept down, we ran by a storyboard, and then the editing stage. And this is where it became a little bit more of a test and a challenge, because some of the things that you have in here is very hard to bring out and regurgitate back. There were some shots that we didn't have time to actually complete, so we had to turn and adapt the story a bit, so that kind of affected that. But yeah, once we got to the editing stage of things, that didn't take too long, but it was challenging because it was a case of just trying to fill in parts that we didn't have with the footage we did have, and I think it turned out pretty decent in terms of what I expected from it. What came out of that sent the message, the right message was out, and maybe if we did have time to do the shots that I originally had planned out, it would have been too long. So I thought the message was portrayed in a short video. So once I started editing, placing the music in, choosing shots and kind of getting that all together, the music flowed really well. So a lot of thing that I do a lot that I don't know if many creatives do is if I know what song I'm going to use in the edit on set, if you ever see me, I'll always have my headphones on top of my head, literally sitting like that. And that's so I could like obviously communicate with the people I'm working with. But as soon as it's more of a record stage, I put my headphones down and listen to the song on repeat. So I kind of know when things are coming in, how it's going to sound, how it's going to play out. Then when I watch back things on a bit with the music in my head, I kind of know. In the beginning stage, when they actually walked towards the store, I went back to listening to the soundtrack, and as I was listening to it, I was editing, and Running Away came on, like the slow piano version of it. I've heard the original song a bit more upbeat, but this one was a bit more like mysterious and eerie, and that beginning shot was trying to hide their identity for as long as possible. So if you don't know what the film Queen and Slim is about, it's about one black male, one black female who kind of go on a date, end up going on the run. So they kind of have to lay low and undercover. So with this piece, it's a bit like a very similar piece, trying to hide their identity, because if this was a scene in a film, this is when they go into store and try and look for outfits to stay undercover with. So that's kind of how I try to piece this concept into that film. I'm going to try and do that again with another concept. If I see any films that come out and I'm a bit like, yo, I really want to put that in there, that's when I'll start doing something similar. So that was kind of the idea behind Queen and Slim's concept. One of the main things I learned from that is music does help tell the story, the visuals complement. When you put two and two together, that's when the piece comes out the way it does. So if it wasn't for me listening to the soundtrack before and watching ridiculous amount of trailers and clips from the film before the film came out, so I had to kind of come up with an idea of what I felt the film was. So I watched a lot of interviews with the cast and the crew. I watched loads of clips that was already released. I guess they're called like EPKs. So clips of the film that they use as promotion. So I watched a lot of that, watched interviews with the cast, everything like that, to try and get a better idea of what the story is before it came out. So yeah, once that piece was done, great. It actually released on Instagram before the film came out. So I watched the film that week on a Friday, which was really interesting. It actually took that film and put it in a different light for me personally, because I know I made a piece based on it. So now you kind of watch it for what it is, and you kind of think, oh, maybe I didn't really think that didn't come across to me in the trailer, or maybe that did come across to me in the trailer. Oh, I kind of get that. So it was really interesting to create a concept about something that you haven't seen fully, something that's based on just trailers and small ads, and then seeing it in its entirety and be like, oh, actually that, I see why. So it kind of amplified that a bit more. So I do recommend that for creatives. If you're trying to do like more passion projects, try and do it based on a film you haven't seen yet. I would actually recommend, if you haven't seen it but you know of it, watch the trailer, then make a concept based on that, and then see what you come up with. Then once you've created that concept, watch the film and see how that comes about. Like, I feel like the way you view it is completely different, and it's a different kind of vibe. So yeah, definitely recommend that. So that's the Queen and Slim. Hopefully this actually helps enhance the way you watch it now. So that's the whole point of these sort of videos, is to kind of explain the run up to and then you guys kind of watch it again and hopefully see something different from this. If there's something else that you want me to cover based on the contents I create, then let me know. Message me or comment below, or DM me. My handle's everywhere. And then let me know what else you want to see within these concepts, and maybe it might be helpful for you or whatever. So yeah, and that's it. So I guess we're gonna sign up now, isn't it? So peace.